them, not judging yourself, but being very happy that you saw it, then already it has less power over you. If you get upset about the negative emotion, it has more power over you anyway. Yeah. So these are the throwing karma. You can be reborn as a hell being. Now I'm using the word, okay, where there is only heat, cold, suffering. Why is it so negative? Because it's heavy to bear. Because on top of it, outside conditions very difficult. The body of such a being is very delicate. Yeah, so it's very easy to suffer because the body is very sensitive. And you know people like this, don't you? We have people like this who are very, very sensitive to heat, for example. Yeah, it's like the smallest heat is like they become different people. They can't function, they get nervous, there's anger, there's aggression. It's like, so they don't have a choice. That's how they experience it. There's no point getting angry at them and saying, well, but it's not so hot. They experience it like that. You see, the way we experience the world is what kind of karmic result is ripening. It has not much to do with what is happening out there. This is why somebody can love a certain kind of food and somebody hates it, the same food, because different karma is ripening. When we have a pleasant feeling, it is the result of a positive seed or imprint, or skillful seed or imprint. If we have aversion or kind of unpleasant feeling arising, it is the result of an unskillful action, the residues that is still lying around. But no, we think it's the ice cream or the tea or the coffee. That also plays a role, but it's just a condition for the seed to ripen. And do you know people who are naturally just content? Can you see how they enjoy everything? It doesn't need to be special. And they really enjoy it. It's not, oh, I don't care. The simplest thing for them is really good and really delicious. Don't make these sad faces if you're not one of them. You can train contentment. You can train it. And maybe I tell you the story also. It's like, usually in Bern, I go shopping for myself or for pujas. So when I go shopping for pujas, then I look for beautiful things. And I look at the fruits and, that they're not half rotten or whatever. Because it's for the puja. And then we give it away anyway. If I go shopping for myself, I don't look. Because I have developed the attitude, if I go shopping for myself, I go in order to give the shop business. And I discovered it because I did it when they opened, we had new owners of a small restaurant, and the 4 owners before them, all of them went bankrupt. So usually I'm not going out to eat, but I went to eat there to give them business. And I found this is such a nice attitude, because then no matter how the food is, it doesn't matter. Because your purpose of going there is fulfilled. So I started to do that with the shops. Whereas if you go to the shop in order to get the best stuff, then you can come home disappointed many times. Yeah. So if you send me shopping for your personal things, it's well possible I come home with not such nice things. So don't send me if you want only non-spoiled vegetables and only flawless fruits and only this and not a few days over the expiry date. Then don't send me, then you have to go yourself. Okay? But this is another thing, if I tell people that, if I would tell that somebody in the street, I'm going shopping because I want to give business to the shop, they think I'm a total friar for sure, and crazy. But try it out. Maybe one day in a month, one shopping day in a month. You go shopping because you want to give business to the shop. And you wouldn't do that if these shop owners would be your friends. You wouldn't get so upset when now that there's no flawless and all this, because you want them to survive. And with these restaurant owners, with all the three before, because also I only went very, very rarely, but with those we became very good friends. Yeah? So if I just go there to say hello and she brings me a cup of coffee, which I don't have to pay, and we talk. And we chat and we talk about religion a lot because she has different religion. So it's nice, a nice talk, really nice talk. So just because of that. So karma works on a very, very secret, strange kind of not conscious thing that I would become friends with her. I never thought so. That was not the intention. But somehow the karma developed in such a positive way that I think sometimes people maybe also can feel your intention. Yeah, you can be very friendly and very smiley, but your intention is really rotten. And then sometimes we can feel that also. But don't trust it, yeah? Don't think you can feel everybody's intention. The only intention you have to be concerned about is your own. Okay, then we have completing karma. So we had throwing karma. This is like the seeds or the plants or the seeds that we create, where all the four factors are present, and it has the power to determine where you will be reborn in one of your next lives, which form you will take on. And this you cannot change. Once you are human, you're human. You can behave like a pig, but it doesn't make you a pig. You're still human and you can still change. Yeah? Your behavior. Whereas if you're a pig and you can't really change. I mean, they can be trained also. Even animals can be trained. By the way, pigs are they're very intelligent. It's actually a shame that you don't have any here, because they're very intelligent animals, and it's really horrible how they are being misused by, not here, but by other countries, by serving as food. They're very, very intelligent. They can learn a lot of things. So, so it's not, they don't deserve the name, they don't deserve the definition, kind of, it's just that they make noise when they eat, that's all. But if you would have a nose like this, if your mouth would be that small and your nose that long, you would also go, because you have to be careful that you're not breathing it in. So you need to breathe out while you take in the food, so maybe that's why they make this noise. Okay, so the other type of karma is called completing karma. So we had the throwing karma, that determines your rebirth. And the completing karma is then, let's say you have a positive imprint that gives you a human form. But then what's happening in that life, this is determined by what is ripening, and sometimes it's positive seeds and sometimes negative, sometimes skillful, seeds from skillful actions, sometimes skills from negative actions, and so on. But it's not, again, as determined as that. It's not like 1 and 1 is 2. Like you do a negative action, you'll be suffering. How you will experience the so-called negative result is your attitude. Yeah? So it's always the same story, but this one is really good, I think. Geshe Tsering. Probably none of you knew him. He died. He was Lama Yeshe's half-brother, and he was living at Tushita. Did you know him? He was living in that little room in the old Gompa, in that living room next to the library. Geshe Tsering. He was very funny. He spoke really funny English. He had very similar traits as Lama Yeshe, but he also had a lot of anger. But when he fell, there's certain days where they say that the energy is so positive, or the energy is so strong, that whatever you do increases, positive or negative, it increases. So, like full moon or new moon, things like that. So you try to do positive things those days, or negative, yeah. So he fell, he slipped and he fell, and he tried to catch him with his hand. And his thumb was sticking out here. So you can imagine how much that hurts. Try to, yeah, exactly. I see the mirror neurons. I mean, my thumb is okay, but your thumb is okay. So, but I can see that you feel the pain, because we know our own body, yeah. And so he was sitting on the ground, and he was, I think, Sakadava or something, a very powerful day. And he said, very happy, he said, wow, look what happened to me. And on such a powerful day, because when pain comes, this is ripening of negative karma, so you purify those imprints. So he was very happy. So the pain was still there, but there was no suffering because of the pain. So pain is not equal suffering. The pain only becomes suffering when we start to see it as useless, I don't deserve it, it shouldn't be there, it's not normal, it's not natural, and so on. Only then. Yeah? We were talking about climbing. I mean, you have so much pain when you climb. Open knees and open hands and this and that, but no, because then it becomes pleasant. Because that's attitude. But the pain is there. Pain is pain. So this ripening of the karma is not like, negative action, you will suffer. It depends what you make of it. Because you can also, when you have situations where you don't, when you don't feel so, that you see it as kind of suffering or something like that, and you don't feel so good, you can also then, it can also be used as a stepping stone to pay more attention to the actions that you do now. When you say, oh, this is a result of negative karma, I don't like this, I better stop creating these actions. So if people lie to you all the time, then you can think, oof, I better stop telling lies. They might still then lie to you because it's from the past, but at least you don't create more seeds. Yeah. So we have these two different karmas. I mean, they're the same seeds, but they have different functions. The very strong ones is the throwing karma, and the completing karma is what is ripening in our life now. Sometimes happy, sometimes sad, sometimes, seeds from skillful actions, sometimes from negative actions. So we still have 10 minutes. I mean, if you have questions about this, then we can really look in the evening. But in the afternoon, I finish with the list, so then it will be easier for you to ask questions. Or you will be able to figure it out, as I said. I know that at the beginning this is very confusing because you're already trying to understand the whole thing. But you don't have all the pieces yet, if you hear this for the first time. For those people who have heard it before, it's just a repetition, so then it's, it makes sense. But if you hear it for the first time, this doesn't make sense yet, so don't even try. This would be like having 100 pieces of a puzzle and you have 4 and you want to see the picture. It's not possible. So you need to be a little bit patient. But I would like to do with you just 10 minutes short reflection about these, when the action is complete, like the power of an action, that you try to feel that it is more powerful when these 4 things are there, like the intention, the object, the action, and then the completion. Okay? So I've never done this, so I have to kind of think of something that will be meaningful for you. Let's take a negative action, because maybe it is more powerful. Something that has been done, maybe to you. While I was on the walk, I remembered what I wanted to do. Now I forgot. Let's just try. Okay, so just again, turn inwards if possible. If you can, sit with a straight back. Try to sit with a straight back. It makes the mind really clear and awake also. Body posture helps the mind to become more alert and more awake. Okay, so maybe let's think about a negative action that has been done to you. let's say, something easy, somebody took something from you. You know, in your mind, this is, for example, my pen. Something small, doesn't have to be big. But the pen that you're attached to, not like one for half a shekel. Like a Mont Blanc pen, somebody, your husband or your wife, gave to you with a golden pen, something like that. There are things like that which cost like $500-600, things to write with, called Mont Blanc. But it's lying on your desk in the office. And you come and it's not there anymore. What would you think? The first thing. Somebody took it. So somebody did an action with an intention of taking that pen and took the pen away. And you're already quite convinced that this pen is never coming back. Because somebody is hiding it. Would your first thought be, oh great, negative karma is ripening, is exhausting itself, and because it's a very expensive pen, then a big chunk of my negative karma is gone? Would we think like this? We wouldn't, would we? And actually, if we would find out that somebody with an intention, with planning, has taken that object and is keeping it, we could see this as a complete negative action. From our own side, we would understand when all these four factors are present. It's not good. But then if somebody comes and says, I'm so sorry, I took your pen by mistake. And then I lost it. Would you still see this action as equally heavy, even though the pen is lost? So try not so much to figure this out intellectually. Look at your sensations, look at your feeling, your instincts. Can you see a difference between planning to take the pen, taking it, understanding the value of the pen, and then hiding it? Can you see the difference to that when somebody just takes the pen without kind of wanting to steal it and then loses it without any intention? Did you see a difference? It's obvious, isn't it? But if you don't go inside and if you don't go through these things, then we don't really see the difference. Yeah? So this is why when we do something with these four factors, because we would feel bad when somebody else is doing it, kind of it is as if we want punishment, It is as if we are punishing ourselves, because our mind has intelligence, and it knows that if I plan to take if somebody plans to take the pen, and then I know the suffering of that person because it's been taken away from me, so I know if I do it, it's also negative, because somebody else will suffer. This is how negative imprints are being created. This is why when somebody is mentally retarded, they don't create negative imprints, because they are not aware of it. Or, mentally, how do you say that in a nice way? Anyway, not very sharp or whatever, not aware of it. Yeah. And, like for example, you take something away from them and then they don't care, and then they take something, then, yeah. It's not like, when I hurt Niv, and I'm not aware that he hurt me, I'm not aware that I hurt him, I don't feel his pain, that I don't create negative karma. If he then does the same thing to me and I don't feel pain, then I can say the negative karma is not created. Yeah? Because very often we do it to somebody else, there is no pain, it's normal. But the negative karma is created when our mind understands, when the same thing is done to us and we suffer, then we understand it's negative. And even then there's a lot of yes buts, yeah? So, you see what I mean? Do you understand the working of how karma is created only by our own mind? Okay? So then the big question, no, it's 12 o'clock, we'll discuss it afterwards. So, 12 o'clock now. Huh? Yeah, we can offer the food. Thank you for thinking about it, I would have forgotten. But we don't need to film that.